To the show, we are being joined by A.K. Prabhakar, who is the head of research at ITBI Capital Market Services. Hi, very good morning, Mr. Prabhakar, and thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now. There has been no change in the repo rate by the RBI, and the markets are definitely taking it in a positive manner. We are seeing an uptick when it comes to the financials, the NBFC space, even the realty space is buzzing. Any of the sectors that you are liking at this point in time, and any of the stocks that are on your radar, where investors can bet on from here on?
Good morning. Thanks for having me here. I think real estate is one. Rate sensitive stocks are likely to rally. Previously also in this show, I have been telling that once the rate cut starts to happen, the bull market also will start. So now we have a pause, but it is too early. We don't know what will happen in the next policy. But the pause itself is very positive. Now, and real estate is one segment which will start to rally. We like Oberoi, DLF, Kolte Patel, Godrej Properties. Even SBI Card is one more stock which is there in our radar, which is rate sensitive. PSU banks will start to benefit. Banking stock has not been rallying in the last 4 to 6 months. So I think they also will come back. So there are many other rate sensitive stock which will start to benefit. High debt companies also will start to benefit. But real estate will be in action in the next 1-2 weeks, I think so.
All right, so that's the view coming in from Mr. Prabhakar on the markets, on the real estate sector, especially the rate sensitives. A very good morning to you, Mr. Prabhakar. We also have Kunal that is joining us very shortly. But before we come to you, Kunal, let's hear how the RBI governor, while he was addressing the media on the MPC decisions, on the fact that why have they decided to hold on to rates as of now, also what are their growth as well as inflation projections.
The Monetary Policy Committee met on 3rd, 5th and 6th April 2023 and assessed the macroeconomic situation and its outlook. It decided unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 6.5% in this meeting with readiness to act should the situation so warrant. The MPC also decided by a majority of 5 out of 6 members to remain focused on withdrawal of accommodation to ensure that inflation progressively aligns with the target while supporting growth. Let me emphasize that the decision to pause on the repo rate is for this meeting only. India's real gross domestic product, that is GDP, is expected to have recorded a growth of 7% in 2022-23. Hence, economic activity remains resilient. The real GDP growth for 2023-24 is projected at 6.5%, with Q1 at 7.8%, Q2 at 6.2%, Q3 at 6.1% and Q4 at 5.9%.
All right, so that is the RBI governor detailing the MPC decision. Remember that they have actually kept the rates on hold, and RBI governor did assert the fact that they've gone ahead and decided to pause on rates, it is only for this meeting. But let's bring on board Kunal Bothra as well. A very good morning to you, Kunal. What's your reaction coming in for this surprise pause on rates by the MPC, as well as where do you see markets headed from here on, given the fact that we saw a good jump in the benchmark indices post this decision?
Good morning, Cheryl. So I would say it was a bit unexpected because the positioning for the markets going into the event was a lot more on the lighter scale. Now this comes as a surprise for the markets, and this could probably invite more longs for the indices. Now the two supports which I would be keenly watching out for to try and hold on to long positions or maybe build long positions on the indices. One would be 41,000 on the Bank Nifty. We are trading at 41,200 plus levels, which means there is a cushion of at least 200 points on the Bank Nifty, even on an intraday basis. And for the Nifty, it would be 17,500 mark. So I think, and the Nifty is trading at, I think, 120 points cushion from those levels on the spot basis. So till the time these two levels hold up, traders can hold on to the long positions. But as I said, that it was a bit of a surprise move given the kind of less expectations from the markets going into the RBI policy. So this definitely comes as a positive surprise for the markets overall.
Okay, so that's the view coming in from Kunal Bothra. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and then it's the time to take all your stock-related queries, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. You can write to us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of your screen, or you can tune in to Twitter as well as Facebook. We are live on those portals. Do remember, every time you write to us, do mention your name in case you're writing to us on WhatsApp. Also, do mention the stock name that you're looking to invest in. If you've already invested in the stock, then mention the buy price as well as the quantity and the time horizon. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. But with that, let me bring on board our guests once again. We have Kunal Bothra as well as Mr. A.K. Prabhakar on the show with us. And Mr. Prabhakar, before we move on and talk about the fact or rather take the queries with you, let's talk about the market construct. We also had the governor actually note the fact that we are seeing pretty uncertain, volatile times globally as well. And in such a scenario, what should retail investors do to make sure their wealth is protected?
I think we have corrected and valuation is looking slightly positive from here on. We need to understand, there are two ways to look. One is margin of safety. So where the valuation is very attractive, we can get into those kind of stock. Otherwise, there are dividend plays, which is something we tell our investors to do it. NMDC at 110. Now, last year the dividend was not so good because of the demerger. Normally, they pay at least 10 rupees dividend, which works to 8 to 9% at current level. So I think dividend yield is a very good play. We have REC, PFC. So whenever they correct, your dividend yield is almost 10%. So we have lot of PSU companies where you can trade and you get 10% dividend yield. So Coal India is one more stock like that. So dividend yield plus rally. A 10% rally gives you almost 15-20% return in a year. So these kind of play is something when these market are very negative, you can play on these things. So there are many stocks which give very good dividend. That is where we need to concentrate. I don't say that you need to have 100% stock like that. 25% of your portfolio can be on the dividend yield stock.
The advice coming in for all our retail investors. Given the market volatility, you can bet on the dividend paying stocks wherein 25% allocation you could be looking at, and Mr. Prabhakar just shared his top picks amongst the pack. But let's move on and kickstart taking all your stock related queries. And the first question that I have, Kunal, this one is for you, and the question is from Satya Veni. Since we are discussing about PSUs, he's holding two counters. Firstly, it's Canara Bank, 1,000 shares at a price of 302, and the other one is BEL, 700 shares at a price of 102. What's your advice coming in? Is that an average at current point? Because he's sitting at a huge loss, so seeking your advice.
Well, yeah, I would suggest an average on both of these stocks. I think Canara Bank as well as BEL, these stocks have been doing reasonably well over the last 6 to 8 months broadly, and the chart patterns for both of these stocks have been very attractive. They've come out of major correction phases for themselves respectively. So I would suggest that at current juncture, these are the two names which look more prominent. So I would suggest an averaging out for both of these stocks.
All right, the next query that I have is coming in from Subramanian. He's writing to us from Chennai, 25 shares of Elecon Engineering as well as 20 shares of Suprajit Engineering. He wants to know which one should he switch out of right now and which among these are a better bet to stay put with. Mr. Prabhakar, Elecon Engineering or Suprajit, which one do you think Mr. Subramanian should stay put with for the longer term, and which one he should switch out and look to buy something else?
No, we have not been tracking both these stocks. See, we like the leaders, L&T, ABB, Siemens, Cummins. We stay there. So we have both these stocks we have not been tracking. So I won't be able to comment on these.
Okay, Kunal, would you like to take this one on the charts? Elecon Engineering versus Suprajit Engineering.
So, well, I think Suprajit is something which I would track, and I think that's a stock which looks attractive out of the two. I don't track Elecon Engineering that very closely. I think Suprajit is trading at 352 approximately. Decent charts for the last 4 or 5 days for the stock, recovered from 330 levels. So that's a stock which I would probably prefer. Elecon I don't track, so I'll skip that.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Kunal, once again a question for you. Venkat Rao is holding shares of BHEL, 100 shares from a price of 84 rupees. He wants to know, is that an average at this point in time?
Well, yeah, I think 68 seems to be a good zone where you can look to average. In fact, today as well as yesterday, the stock seems to be showing signs of some demand coming back. Today, the stock has bounced off from the 68 level. So, relatively, I believe that this is a good zone where you can look to start averaging if you bought at high levels of 80 plus.
Okay, the next query that I have is coming in from Anand. He's writing to us from Coimbatore, and this one is on Yes Bank. He has 635 shares of Yes Bank, which he has at a price of around 115 rupees per share. So, which means that it's been a while that he's been actually holding on to Yes Bank. What's your take? What should he do right now, Mr. Prabhakar?
At 15 rupees, I don't personally have the guts to buy because it is a loss-making bank, and the 80 bonds which they have written off. I think it is around 8,000 crores. This is an ongoing court case, and if the court says you have to repay the 8,000 crores or 8,000 odd crores, then it is going to be even negative. So they have to make that kind of provision which is not there in the balance sheet, and with the equity capital is more than 5,000 crores. So when they will turn around and make that kind of profit, I don't. Getting back to that level, is a hope. Maybe it can happen, but I'm not a person to buy this stock and hold.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, coming to you for next one. Veni is holding shares of Poonawalla FinCorp, 600 shares from a price of 306, and wants to know what are some of the targets that you have in mind for this particular counter, because just yesterday we saw the updates coming in, but the stock wasn't that excited after that. So, view on Poonawalla FinCorp?
No, the kind of AUM they have, it is very small, and now they are into risky asset. They have sold their housing finance and other things, so I won't be investing in Poonawalla. So, we like Mahindra Finance. We recently, came with initiating coverage on that. Shriram Finance is one more stock we like, where we feel, after the merger, the upside is potential is more than 32%. So I think there are better stock. Even Chola Finance did very good. But Poonawalla at current level, I would avoid. If I have it, I would like to take an exit only.
All right, this one is coming from Matthew. He's writing to us from Kochi, and I am unsure if you track this one, Kunal, by any chance. Praveg Limited is the counter that he's asking about, average price of 360. I can see you not, so I'll ask the other stock that he's holding. 1,000 shares of BLS at 121 rupees per share. What should he do?
Yeah, I think this is something which I would recommend a hold. Again, the last 4 or 5 days, the stock has seen some good recovery from 150 levels to 170. There was a good volume jump for BLS on the short-term charts as well. And broadly over the last 1 year, the stock has been trading in a range as such. So I think from September, October 2022, the stock has been trading more sideways at 150 to 100 zone. So it's come back to the lower end, which makes the trade a bit more attractive. I would recommend a hold.
That's a hold coming in. But Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is from RK, and he's holding shares of Reddington at currently at a loss of 10% in this one. So he wants to know whether he should sell this counter or rather buy TD Power at current market price. His investment horizon is 1 year. So what will be your advice?
TD Power also I don't track, but Reddington I used to track. No, the margins are very low. No, you cannot be in a business where 2% or 2.5% is a margin. No, so it is very difficult because in these kind of business the sales will be very good, but when it comes to your growth, there are other problems. So I would not be in Reddington, but TD Power I don't track. But power is one segment which is growing. So good power stock is something we need to buy. So Torrent Power or Tata Power, NTPC are few stocks to look at.
Okay, Kunal, or rather, let me come to you only, Mr. Prabhakar, on this one. This one is coming from Pawan Kumar. He's writing to us from Karnataka. 80 shares of Berger Paints at an average price of 615 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should add some more at current price in his portfolio. He's a long-term investor. So does it make sense to add on to Berger Paints, or should he look at some other players altogether?
So this is for me.
Yes, for you, Mr. Prabhakar.
Yeah. No, Berger Paint, I think, the market is, getting better. And if interest rate cut starts to come, I think paint as an industry will do better. So I think Berger Paint he can add on.
All right, all right. So that's the take coming in on Berger Paints. But on that note, we quickly slip into a short break. But when we come back, we'll continue taking your queries. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now, a show where you get all your stock related queries answered by the experts. And continuing with the same, the next question that I have is for you, Kunal. The question is from S. Gopalakrishna, and he is looking for a medium term technical outlook on two counters. First is BEML. He purchased this one at a price of 1,540 rupees, and he's holding 200 shares of Godrej Properties from a price of 1,380 rupees. So what's your view on both of them?
So both of these stocks are attractive. In fact, Godrej Property something is which has been beaten down significantly. My sense is that the real estate pack is going through a bit of a turnaround. So I think it's possible that Godrej Properties can also make a strong turnaround for itself. Now it's a matter of patience as well as some bit of risk appetite which is required by the viewer. For BEML, I think it's a bit tricky because the stock in the last 5-6 months of downtrend has corrected very sharply. It's come back towards a retest of the previous swing lows. The bounce for BEML in I think the last 4 or 5 weeks has been a bit shallow, and it's not technically a bounce which we call it as a strong bounce for the stock price. So there is a possibility that the stock may come back towards the previous lows of 1150, 1170 mark. So I think a better level if you're looking to average BEML would be just around that 1170, 1150 mark for itself.
This one is coming in from Indu, and she's writing to us for all the way from Warsaw, and she wants to know what are the correct levels to enter Thermax as well as tube investments for a positional trade, Kunal.
So Thermax, I believe 2300 currently the level where it's trading is a good level to enter. The stock has come back towards a retest of the previous swing high. My sense is that the stock may take a bit of a pause over here, but I think sooner or later the stock will gather momentum as well as come back towards 2600 levels. For tube investment, on the other hand, the near-term trendline support and something which starts off from the month of I think the last couple of months from 650 odd levels. The recent trendline support comes at 750 levels. So if you're looking to buy tube investments, then I think 750 could be a better level to buy the stock.
Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is for you from Raman from Chennai, and he wants to know it's Kalyan Jewelers and Galaxy Surfactants. Good buy at current levels?
I feel so. Both are quality stocks, and you are buying a gold jeweler, which is in organized segment. So I think even if it corrects more, I think that is where you can buy more. Galaxy Surfactants, we need to understand it is a supplier for all the FMCG companies, and globally also they are a supplier. So this is a long-term buy. Do not think in next 1 year magic is going to happen, because we have a slowdown scenario globally and even in India. So it will take time, but it is a quality stock to buy for a long-term perspective.
This one is coming from Avdesh Kumar Malik. He's writing to us from Kolkata. This one is for you, Kunal. It's on your contra bet, that is Cipla. He has about 150 shares at a price of 1,087 rupees per share. He's saying that stock now is below his buy price. What should he do with this particular holding? Stay put with the holding or look to average it out?
Yeah, you can stay put. I would not suggest an averaging out at current levels because the risk reward is a bit skewed. I think in case if the stock say corrects back towards 860, 870 mark, that would be a good zone where you can look to average for a short-term upside of 900, 920. So my expectation is that 860, 870 is a zone where you can look to buy or average, and 900 to 920 could be a zone where you may look to book out profits on the stock price. So that's a short-term trading range which you should play out for on Cipla at current zone.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, Jai Krishna from Kerala is holding shares of Jubilant Food from a price of 561 rupees. We have been discussing about this counter on the channel lately, where we are highlighting the price war or the pizza war is getting intensified in India. How do you look at Jubilant Food at this point in time? And he's seeking an outlook for the medium term.
Yeah, their sales, there are problems with the QSR space. But I think it is there already in the prices, and they have started the poppies very aggressively. They have come in Bangalore, in Chennai. They have started one big outlet. So I think they are diversifying away from it. They are experimenting biryani also. So they are moving away from pizza, but how successful they are is something we need to watch out for. But I think at current level, Jubilant Food is not a bad buy. You can hold on to it. At current level, many bad news are already in the prices. So I think going forward, if some positive news comes, the stock might rally.
This one is coming in from Divya, and a couple of stocks that she's mentioned about where she's making really good profits. One of them is Elecon Engineering. The other one is Power Industries. The next one is Ace. Kunal, she's making good profits in these counters, but she wants to know what should she do. Look to average these stocks, but she's not mentioned the buy price for them. But given the fact that she's already making profits, so basis on that, should she look to average or look to book out profit and look at stocks like Angel One, CDSL, or even PNB Housing?
Yeah, I think it could be a good strategy to book out partial profits. I would not suggest to book out full profits over here because both these stocks have been doing reasonably well. In fact, these stocks have been trending in a very slow, gradual, and a very stable kind of a manner. So I think that is one of the reasons why I would believe that this trend would sustain for these stocks. So it makes sense to book out 50% profits and then look to park your money into the names which you mentioned. I think CDSL, PNB Housing, these stocks have been looking very attractive and they've probably are at the verge of a bigger breakout on the weekly as well as on the monthly chart. So it makes a lot of sense to make that shift, but only do it with a 50% kind of a book profit holdings to these names.
Kunal, coming to you, PR Reddy wants to know, can he buy Federal Bank at this point in time? The stock saw a sharp fall in yesterday's trading session, but given the fact, but going ahead, do you expect some rebound in this particular counter, and is that a buy?
Well, maybe 125 could be a better zone to buy Federal Bank. I think that's a zone where the stock may go into a double test or a triple test of the previous support. The level of 125 was hit in the month of February as well as just about, I think, in the end of the month of March. So, and the stock has bounced up from those levels. 135 on the upper end is the resistance for Federal Bank. So it's trading into this 10 rupee, 12 rupee band. 125 is the zone where you should go average.
Okay, this one is coming from Mahindra and he has 750 shares of Ashok Leyland Kunal at the price of around 118 rupees per share. He's holding Ashok Leyland for the last 1 year. He's saying no doubt the stock has corrected from the highs, but it is much above his buying price right now. What should he do? Add some more to his portfolio or book profits?
Well, I would suggest to just hold on to your existing stock. No need to add or average as such over here. The stock is a lot more lower beta, moderate beta stock as compared to the other peers. In case if you're looking to add some other auto stock, then I would recommend either go with Tata Motors at current levels, or if you're looking at two wheelers, then go for Bajaj Auto. I think those are the two names which are come back as a fresh candidate of breakout for themselves in their respective charts.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is from Siva from Chennai, and he's holding 800 shares of ONGC from a price of 156 rupees. He wants to know a short-term outlook on this particular counter.
They pay very good dividend. Again, it is a dividend stock, and they are trying to revive their wells also. So I think going forward, as now the OPEC countries are stabilizing crude prices, I think ONGC you can hold at current level.
ONGC, we have one of our viewers on the Twitter also writing to us, that's Sunny, and he's holding ONGC at a price of 154.6 rupees per share. And Mr. Prabhakar, he wants to know why is the stock actually declining, given the fact that the crude oil prices have seen an uptake as well as the windfall revision happening over there.
There are many reasons. They have a huge debt, which they borrowed to buy Hindustan Petroleum. So their repayment is also there. And now only it has gone, but we need to understand now till the result doesn't come, people will not be confident about the pricing which they get. I don't know about other things, but it is a very good dividend yield stock, and they are reviving their wells, which has been constantly coming down in the last 10 years. So the revival phase will not happen in one single year. It will take at least 3-4 years for these wells to get revived and for the output to come out heavier, or output to improve also.
Okay, Kunal, coming to you for the next one. The question is from Ram, and he entered in two large cap names, ITC as well as Tata Motors, at a very attractive price. ITC from a price of 225 and Tata Motors from a price of 110. He's still looking to accumulate more of these counters. So what will be your advice?
Well, I think maybe closer to 400 is actually a good zone where you may look to book mild profits on ITC. For Tata Motors, I think closer to 400 mark is a good zone where you can look to accumulate further. I think multiple times the stock has gone sub that 400 levels as well as bounced off from those 400 mark. For ITC, somehow closer to that 400 levels is where you see a lot of supply or resistance coming by. So my sense is that maybe 400 could be a level where you can book profits on ITC, and sub 400 levels could be a zone where you may look to buy or average Tata Motors.
Now, do you track Ellen Electronics? I know this one is a recently listed counter. I believe over the last 2 years is when this counter actually got listed. Sudhir from Hyderabad has 1,000 shares at 235 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should hold or stay put, or hold or exit, I mean.
Apologies, Cheryl, don't track it.
By any chance, have you had a chance to look at this one, Mr. Prabhakar, Ellen Electronics?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing the name.
All right, then let me skip this one altogether and take the next one. This one is coming from Pradeep. He's writing to us from Dubai. We've already answered on BHEL. Nevertheless, for the benefit of the viewer, 1,000 shares of BHEL at 88 rupees per share. Kunal, what should he do? And he's not the only viewer who's again asked about BHEL. We have another viewer who's asked about BHEL. So what should all of them do with their holding in BHEL?
See, I think I just recommended on BHEL that 65 or 67 could be a level where you may look to average or add BHEL. That's a zone where the stock seems to have been trading at a good support. 69 approximately is where the stock is trading right now. So maybe at current levels you can start nibbling on the stock price, and closer it is towards say 65, 67 mark is a zone where you can look to average or add further.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, I'm not sure whether you tracked this one or not, but Madhu is holding 2,000 shares of Websol Energy from a price of 101. She's looking for a medium-term outlook. Is this one, is this counter, do you track this one?
No, we have never tracked it. Just when you were saying I put it, it is only 324 crore of market cap. Anything below 1,000 is very difficult for people to track.
Okay, not an issue. Moving on to the next query, and Kunal, the question is from Kishore Bajaj. He is holding 400 shares of IndusInd Bank from a price of 1,700 rupees. Wants to know, should he sell or average at this point in time, sitting at a huge loss?
Yeah, I think 1,700, which means you've been holding on to the stock since last maybe I think 3-4 years at least. Looking at the data, the price data for IndusInd Bank. Now, I believe that the stock has recovered very, very smartly over the last 2 years from the pandemic lows when the stock was at 250. It's been slowly and steadily gaining a lot of traction for itself. I think at current levels of 1,088 for IndusInd Bank, it's a good zone where you should look to ideally hold on. So I would not suggest to average at current levels, but yeah, I think you can just hold on to your existing quantity as of now. The more clarity we get to the banking stocks, private sector banking names, say in the next couple of months or maybe post the quarterly earnings, is where I would believe that the stock would come back into breakout mode. That's a zone where you should look to buy. As of now, you can just hold on to your existing quantity.
This one is coming from Sudha, and Sudha has about 1 lakh rupees that she's looking to invest in a Adani Group company. She's asking whether she should take a bet on Adani Enterprises or Adani Ports for the long term. Mr. Prabhakar?
Adani Port will be a safe bet, because they almost control more than 25% of the Indian ports, and even the transport wise, and they have now gone international. So I think these are something very positive. And the Kerala port, if it comes, it will be the biggest deep port in India, where bigger ship can load and unload. So I think even in Karaikal or something in Tamil Nadu, they got one port where the clearance has come. So they will be at least more than 30% of the total transport inward and outward. So Adani Port will be my best bet.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is from Balakrishnan, and he's holding 100 shares of Rupa and Company and sitting at a 50% loss at this point in time. Is that a sell at current levels or hold on?
No, this textile company, I think it is a long way to go. So at current level, I don't think one should sell. You can hold on to it, but adding on, I will not advise, because we have not been actively tracking Rupa or even Page Industry. So current level, you can hold on to it. It has corrected and business is good. but incrementally do not add on this company.
All right, this one is coming from Ravi. He's writing to us from Chennai, and this one is for you, Kunal. He wants to know whether he can buy Moil right now.
Yeah, I think so. Moil is a chart which has been more sideways, Shreya. So I think at 145 levels, it's not something which is an attractive kind of a chart. So risk reward may be at favor, but then the stock has to give a bigger dimension breakouts for itself, and that we've not seen from Moil. So you can look to buy if you're purely a risk reward kind of a trader, as well as if you're looking to buy from a longer term play. But purely in terms of charts, there is nothing very exciting for the stock price. So ideally, I would give it a skip.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let me continue taking your queries very quickly. It was the last leg of the show. This one is coming from Kaushik Mitra, writing to us from Mumbai. Kunal wants to know what is a good level to average Tech Mahindra. He's already holding at a level of around 1,500 rupees per share. He wants to know, is it good to add to the stock, keeping 2024 in mind? Do you think that now is the time to average Tech Mahindra, given the fact that its buy price is pretty high?
Yeah, I think the buy price is pretty much high. 1,050, 1,070 could be a level where you can look to buy. I think in the last 1 or 2 months, given the kind of news flow for Tech Mahindra, this has been a major support for the stock price. So I would suggest that if you're looking to buy or average, 1,050 to 1,070 could be that trading range where you should look to average.
The next question is from Bharat Mr. Prabhakar, and he's holding shares of Balrampur Chini and sitting at a profit of 15%, and he's also at a profit of 5% in Voltas. Would you advise to book profit in both of these counters and rather make a shift to Balakrishna Industries at this point in time?
I think Balrampur Chini is a hold from my side. I think the sugar companies have not been performing, but going forward, the sugar is going to be a very big story. So hold there. Voltas, the performance has not been good, but Balakrishna Industries I will not venture into because Europe is weak and Balakrishna Industries major supply is towards Europe. So I will not buy that. Maybe I'll look at different opportunities. Something in the defense space is something I like, BDL or Cochin Shipyard, something like that I would venture into, not Balakrishna Industries where the exposure towards Europe is very high.
All right, Kunal, this one is coming your way from Rao. He's writing to us from Baroda and he wants to know about Gland Pharma. How's the outlook looking for this particular counter? He's saying the stock is already corrected above 50%. He has 100 shares at a price of 2,900 rupees per share. You're definitely making a huge loss on that one.
Yeah, I think from 2,900 levels, the stock has corrected very sharply. My only point of opinion over here is that the recent 1 month of charts for Gland Pharma indicates that the stock has built in a base at the 1100, 1150 mark. So the selling at least has stopped for the stock price, even though it's not seen any major kind of a bounce. But then I would believe that possibly the stock holds on to that 1150 levels, say for the next couple of months, then there could be a case that the stock may get into a recovery. So I would suggest to just wait out for maybe another couple of months, see how the stock trades, at current levels, whether there is an incremental selling which suddenly comes by into the stock price. If that does not happen, then you can hold on to the stock and possibly in the next couple of months, if the stock doesn't break below the 750 mark, look to average further.
Okay, moving on. And Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is from Love, another sugar counter, since you gave a hold on Balrampur. Love is holding 100 shares of Dwarikesh Sugar from a price of 97 rupees. What will be your advice and any targets that you have in mind for the next 6 months?
Dwarikesh Sugar I have not been tracking because in sugar companies it is more important to know whether they have ethanol. That is where they make money. Sugar normally is a break even or they make minor losses. So if they have ethanol production, if you know the capacity, then you can hold on to any sugar company where ethanol is very good. But if ethanol production is not there, kindly avoid. I have not been tracking the stock, so I won't be able to comment on this company.
But Kunal, do you have any targets for Dwarikesh Sugar since all these sugar counters are buzzing?
Yeah, I think many of the sugar stocks are going through a breakout. I generally prefer Balrampur Chini from the sugar pack. But if you're looking for a shorter term kind of a target for Dwarikesh, then I think maybe the previous highs of 98 as well as 102, this could be a potential target range for Dwarikesh.
Odisha is asking about Zomato Kunal. 500 shares at a price of 49.8 rupees per share. He's intending to keep this for 6 months. Makes sense?
Yeah, I think you should look to hold on.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, Krish wants to know between Page Industries and KPR Mills, which one he can go and bet on for the next 3 years at current point in time.
I think KPR Mill is my bet.
All right, this one is coming from Azim Bhattacharya. He is a senior citizen writing to us from Kolkata, and he wants to know how's the prospects for Mazagon Dock shares looking like on the charts, Kunal. Is it the right time to look at venturing into this one?
Well, I think the stock has gone through a time-wise as well as a price-wise correction. From 930, the stock had corrected to 600, 612, and now from 600 levels, the stock is slowly and gradually moving up to the 700 club for itself. So, which means that the price-wise, time-wise, both the correction seems to have been completed for Mazagon Dock. So, I think it's a good zone where you should look to buy.
Moving on, and it's time to kickstart the rapid fire session. And the first question, Kunal, is for you. Question is from Nishant, and he bought 600 shares of JK Paper from a price of 240 rupees. Wants the target and the SL for this one.
What at 240 rupees, stock is trading at 385.
Yeah.
Would suggest a target of 415, stop loss at 375.
Another one, Kunal, coming your way. This one's from Vivek. Ingersoll Rand. His buy price is 1900 rupees per share. He wants to know at what price should he look to sell and re-enter.
Well, I think current price 2700 is a good zone where you should look to book profits.
Okay, the next question is from Subhadra and Mr. Prabhakar. She bought PG Electroplast from a price of 1024. Can she buy more or hold on, or rather book profits? Her view is long term.
I think hold on to this thing.
Okay, this one's from Sharon writing to us from Kochi. 100 shares of HDFC Life at 598 rupees per share. Should she look to hold this for the long term, Mr. Prabhakar?
I feel so. No, that it is in the worst period, and now you should not exit. Hold on.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, which one is better, IRB Infra or Bank of Maharashtra from long term? The question is from Swati.
IRB Infra is better. Infrastructure.
All right, one good ethanol company to invest, Mr. Prabhakar. This query is from Mr. M.R. Vishwanathan.
Balrampur Chini.
Okay, Kunal, Neha wants to know about Reliance. What is the target price expected and which side you are holding a view?
2200 is the stop loss. If the stock holds on to those levels above 2200, look out for targets of 2400 plus.
Kunal, what's your view coming in on Wipro? Also, how are the charts looking for this one? And which one is an attractive bet in the IT sector among the large cap? This is what Ramesh is asking from Coimbatore.
I would prefer either TCS or Tech Mahindra. So it depends on what's your risk appetite. For Wipro, the charts are not yet attractive. The stock is going through a mild bounce, but not suggest to participate.
Okay, Kunal, the question is from Vivek and he's holding Ingersoll Rand from a price of 1900. Any targets he should keep in mind? He's looking to exit this counter, or rather you would advise an add at this point in time?
Well, just answer that, Srishti. I think 2700, the current market price, is a good zone to book profits.
One last one. Let me just slip in the last one quickly. Prajyot wants about Indus Towers. 144 is the buy price, Kunal. What should he do with this one?
Well, I think you should look to exit this one.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time's up on this rapid fire session as well as buy now, sell now. Mr. Prabhakar and Mr. Kunal, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and helping all our viewers with their stock-related queries. But Cheryl, the markets have actually drifted lower from the day's highest point, but nevertheless, it's an exciting market because we have options weekly expiry still to play on. But with this, it's a goodbye from me and Cheryl and the entire team who put this show together. Thank you so much for watching.